10 Powerful Habits of Truly Smart People. We often imagine smart people as those who ace tests, know big words, or invent futuristic technologies. But in the real world, intelligence shows up in subtle, quiet, and deeply human ways. It's not just about IQ. It's about attitudes, habits, and how they see the world. In fact, many of the smartest people don't walk around trying to prove how smart they are. They live it. Let's explore 10 attitudes of truly smart people, backed by real-life examples, scientific insight, and a conversational lens you can relate to. 1. Smart people are often quiet. Because they're listening, you've probably heard the phrase, "You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason." Smart people take that seriously. Rather than dominating every conversation, they absorb. They listen actively, not just waiting for their turn to speak, but genuinely tuning in. Neuroscience even supports this. Research shows that the brain forms stronger connections when we're listening and reflecting, rather than multitasking or thinking ahead to our response. In meetings or group chats, they're often the ones who speak last, not because they're shy, but because they're mentally processing, evaluating, and connecting ideas. When they do speak, it usually adds real value. Real-life insight. Think of Warren Buffett. He spends 80% of his day reading and thinking, not talking, listening, absorbing, and only then making moves. 2. They know they don't know everything. There's a word for this. Intellectual humility. Smart people know they're not the smartest person in every room, and they're fine with that. In fact, they embrace it. The Dunning-Kruger effect, a well-known psychological study, showed that the less someone knows, the more they think they know. The opposite is also true. The more someone actually knows, the more aware they are of their limitations. Smart people are curious, not cocky. They constantly update their knowledge. Like scientists testing hypotheses, they are always adjusting based on new information. Practical example. A great software developer doesn't claim to know all coding languages. Instead, they stay open to learning, constantly researching, and adapting as technology evolves. 3. They don't show off. Their work does. Have you noticed how the people who talk the loudest often know the least? Smart people usually don't feel the need to advertise their intelligence. They let results do the talking. They value doing over bragging. That humility is rooted in self-confidence. They don't seek validation from applause. There's even a scientific angle here. Social psychology suggests that people who focus on impression management often lack internal motivation. Smart folks are motivated by growth, problem solving, and purpose, not just praise. Look around. The best teachers you ever had probably didn't flaunt their degrees. Instead, they made you feel understood, challenged, and inspired, and that's real intelligence in action. 4. They are humble, intelligence without arrogance. Being smart doesn't give anyone the right to act superior. Truly intelligent people understand that everyone has something to teach them. Whether it's a janitor, a taxi driver, or a child, they stay open to learning. And they rarely need to win in conversations. They seek truth, not triumph. Humble intelligence is linked with higher emotional intelligence, the ability to read people, stay grounded, and respond thoughtfully. Studies show EQ is often a better predictor of success than IQ. In real life, you might see this in leaders who give credit to their teams rather than taking the spotlight. They understand that success is shared, not solo. 5. They may have fewer close friends, but deeper ones. Smart people often find it hard to maintain many close friendships, not because they're antisocial, but because they prefer depth over small talk. They're more comfortable with meaningful, layered conversations, the kind that go beyond gossip or surface-level chatter. They also value alone time, which helps them recharge and think deeply. Psychologist Carl Jung referred to these people as introverted intuitives, individuals who live rich inner lives and seek understanding over attention. Life insight. If someone in your circle prefers quiet dinners, walks, or long thoughtful messages over group parties, they might just be that deep-thinking friend you've overlooked. 6. They ask better questions than most people give answers. Ever been around someone who just seems to ask the right questions? That's not luck. That's insight. Smart people are incredibly curious, but not in a nosy way. They ask questions that make others think, feel, and explore. In many ways, they act like natural investigators, always peeling back layers. Asking great questions is a sign of critical thinking, the ability to break down problems, understand root causes, and connect dots. Scientific edge. Studies show that students who ask clarifying questions score higher on comprehension tests. The brain remembers better when it actively participates in learning, not just receives it. 7. They notice mistakes and learn from them. Smart people are natural editors. They often spot flaws in arguments, patterns in errors, or weak spots in systems, not to criticize, but to optimize. This analytical mind comes from a blend of pattern recognition and mental simulation, the brain's ability to play out what-if scenarios. But here's the real kicker. Smart people don't just point out problems. They usually offer thoughtful, actionable suggestions. That's the difference between being a critic and being constructive. Life tip. If someone gently points out a better way to do something, they might not be annoying. They might be helping you level up. 8. They love to read, not just for fun, but for fuel. Books are like brain food for smart people. But they don't only read dense academic texts. They read fiction, history, philosophy, science, anything that feeds their curiosity and opens their mind. Reading builds empathy, vocabulary, critical thinking, and creativity. MRI scans show that reading regularly improves connectivity in the brain's language and reasoning areas. It even slows cognitive decline in old age. Smart people treat reading like a daily ritual, just like exercise for the mind. Try this. Instead of scrolling for 30 minutes before bed, read 10 pages of a book that intrigues you. You'll sleep better and think clearer. 9. They trust their gut, but only after learning the pattern. Smart people often rely on instinct. But here's the catch. It's not just random feelings. It's informed intuition. Psychologists call this pattern-based intuition. When you've encountered a situation many times, your brain starts recognizing hidden patterns subconsciously. That's your gut speaking, a whisper built from knowledge. Example, a skilled negotiator can often feel when a deal's about to break. Not because they're psychic, but because they've seen this play out 100 times before. Smart people combine data with instinct. And when the stakes are high, they trust that mix. 10. They don't like to argue. They prefer to understand. You might expect smart people to love debates. And while they do enjoy a good idea exchange, they hate pointless arguments. That's because they see arguments as emotional traps. They know that most disagreements aren't about facts. They're about ego, identity, or misunderstanding. Instead, they seek clarity, not conflict. They ask questions, find common ground, or walk away if the discussion turns toxic. Scientific take. Studies in conflict resolution show that people with high cognitive empathy, often found in intelligent individuals, resolve arguments faster, with better outcomes for all parties. Conclusion. Intelligence isn't flashy. It's quiet power. If you expected smart people to be loud, flashy, or obsessed with proving themselves, think again. The real signs of intelligence lie in how someone lives, not what they say. Being smart isn't just about solving equations. It's about listening deeply, staying curious, being kind, admitting what you don't know, and learning every day. It's how you treat others, how you process ideas, and how you evolve. And here's the best part. You don't need a PhD or a perfect memory to cultivate these attitudes. You just need a little curiosity, a little humility, and a commitment to being better every day. Because in the end, intelligence isn't about being right. It's about being real.